Yo, welcome to episode 54 of Chat with Gunner. And man, we are not coming off the best of weeks in the gambling world, but things like that happen, right? If I could have picked it opposite, we'd have won. I don't know why I ever bet against Tom Brady. Never. You should never do it.
Yeah, I don't know why you did it either.
I mean, it was one of those things where, like, there's no reason why the Bucs should even be there in the first place.
Except for Tom Brady.
And then it's like, the Packers have been playing so well. There's no way he's going to beat the Packers. I mean, dude, Tom Brady is the best football player of all time.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's not even a question at this point. I mean, you can stamp that. That's going into the Hall of Fame. He's the greatest of all time, regardless of how the rest of his career plays out. So, Tom Brady's the GOAT.
I read something this week after that game. It was like his percentage of getting to a Super Bowl is higher than Steph Curry's 3-point average.
Yeah, it's called 50.
Like, what the?
Dude, yeah. Stephen Curry could be out there shooting threes, and Tom Brady's going to make more Super Bowls than him. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, it's a sure thing that Tom Brady's probably going to go to Super Bowl every year until he dies, unless he's not playing football. And he still might figure out a way to go. I don't know. He might coach. I have no clue. Yeah, I have no clue. The other game, the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yes.
That was the first bad performance from Josh Allen since last year. So, learning curve, maybe. I thought he was gonna snap out of it. You know, the Chiefs played perfect. I think that was their best game probably of the year. So, can they do that again? Can they do that again in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks? Here's the thing. Tom Brady has played good halves in the playoffs so far, either a first half or a second half. He's yet to put together a complete game. He's had good drives, but he's yet to put together a complete game. If that man puts together a complete game against the Chiefs, we're going to have ourselves a ball game. I'm going to make my pick on that next week. I'm going to bring you all the trends, all the stats. We're going to do one whole show on the Super Bowl. That's going to be what we're doing. We're going to do our next week's our Super Bowl show. But other than that, I've stayed away from gambling this week. Here's the deal. You don't have to gamble every day. You don't have to gamble every game. That's kind of how you stay ahead. So I'm ahead. I took a little loss this weekend. Man, literally, if Connor wins, I hit that parlay. If the Bucs win, I hit that. Not the Bucs. I'm sorry. If the Bills just play better, I hit that parlay. So we're just barely off a little bit on some things, but I've got an idea of what's going to happen. Here's something pretty cool. So before the playoffs started, the 12-point logistics account as a office, we kind of went on the Packers. We put $1,000 on the Packers to win a Super Bowl, which if they would have, we'd have won $6,000, and that didn't happen. Well, your boy didn't take the Packers.
Oh.
Your boy didn't take the Chiefs.
Oh.
Your boy didn't take the Bills. But at the very beginning, I said it's really hard to bet against Tom Brady. And your boy picked the Bucs. The Bucs are in the Super Bowl, and I got a future bet out there. It was only a $15 bet. $15 pays out $150 profit.
Damn.
Yeah, so I got a little bit of skin in the game. So we're probably going to ride that out. I'm probably going to double down on the Bucs in the Super Bowl just because they're the dog, and they're like plus 145. So the money makes sense. I mean, I don't know. So I'll probably put, I don't know, I might throw a couple hundred on the Bucs to win the Super Bowl. You know, I'd like to get like $1,000 out of it. So maybe whatever gets me $1,000, it might be like, because I'm already going to win 150 if they win. So I probably have to bet
160, 170?
No, I'd probably have to bet $350 to win, to profit a G.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll look at that, see what happens. On our 12-point logistics, our sportsbook account, right, we're in a little bit of a hole, not necessarily like not playing with house money. We put $1,000 on the Packers to win. We also put $500 on the Chiefs to win. So if the Chiefs win, we profit $1,700. So right now we started our account at $4,000, and right now our account's like at 2,600. So if the Chiefs win, we would be at $4,000, or a little over $4,000. So we're still in a profit playing with house money. My idea is the following: I think we put 1,700 on the Bucks to win. So if the Chiefs win, we are back up to $4,000. But if the Bucks win, we now win $4,000.
Yeah.
So regardless, you don't really lose. You're either going to stay the same, or you're going to win $4,000. You know, that's the way I see it. So we're talking about it. We're doing some things. I think I'll talk them into it. I'd like to do $2,000 because then we win 5,300. But anyways, but that's it. That's as far as the gambling goes. Gambling hiatus. However, in other avenues of life, there's also gambles you can take. One of those being the stock market, Ethan.
Well, I was gonna say let's leave that for the end, because it's gonna be a lot.
Well, I mean, I don't know what else is there to talk about.
Dude, King Kong versus Godzilla, bro.
So
I'm excited.
There's 32 million views on YouTube for the trailer for King Kong versus Godzilla. Marcus has 1 million of them.
Dude, I've watched it probably about 10 times in the past, 6 days?
I can tell you for a fact I've watched it more than that, and that's because of Marcus. I have no choice.
It's just so good, though. I'm excited.
So one of the first movies we ever took Marcus to see in theater was the second Godzilla, right?
That's awesome.
And he's seen Kong, Skull Island, obviously. So now he's all about it. He thinks now that the trailer's out, the movie's coming out tomorrow. Can we go watch King Kong and Godzilla? Can we watch? It's every day since the trailer.
Fair enough.
So I was like, no, man, it don't come out until March. But we got HBO Max, or we go watch it in the theater, whatever you want to do. I'm cool with either one.
Dude.
I want to go to the theater.
I'm probably going to go see it in IMAX.
I mean, it makes sense. So I was like, but here's what we'll do. Let's watch the first Godzilla because you haven't seen it. Well, the first Godzilla, he's kind of heel at the beginning. You don't really know. It's the way it is.
I love how you immediately go to wrestling terms.
Yeah, so I talked to him. He's kind of heel in that. And but then, obviously he becomes a good guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then the second one, obviously, his face kind of gets, a little damaged a little bit. They have to nuke him up, get him going again. You have to Hulk him up like Hogan, right? Jesus. But yeah, so we've watched both Godzillas and Kong in the past 3 days.
Jeez.
So I'm on super mutant overload now.
Personally, so I had to rewatch Kong because I just don't remember it, which was weird because I loved it. I rewatched King of the Monsters, which is Godzilla 2.
Okay.
God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's long, but it's not.
It's not.
It flows. It flows very well.
It's a very good flow, and that's what's very interesting for kaiju movies that I'm realizing is thinking back to Pacific Rim. That's a really good movie in my book.
The second one sucked.
Yeah, sadly.
And that was such a disappointment.
I was so excited. But Pacific Rim 1, I mean, it's Guillermo del Toro. That guy doesn't make bad movies.
Yeah.
And so you watch it, and you're just like, this is longer than I expected it. It feels like a good runtime, but then you're like, oh my gosh.
It's like a movie that's a series.
Exactly.
It has kind of
should have been a series.
Yeah, it kind of has points where you could have stopped, take a break, and then start back over, but it just flows.
It just keeps going.
It just keeps going.
But back to Godzilla, Kong. The main reason I brought it up is because I want to ask you: are you Team Kong or are you Team Godzilla?
Oh, bro, King Kong all day.
Bro, you're just wrong.
No.
Are you telling me Nuclear Lizard is going to lose to Monkey?
Here's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you I'm a fan of King Kong more so than I'm a fan of Godzilla. There's something about... Okay, Godzilla's obviously not a real character. Not a real thing. But there's something about, what if? What if there's an island that's surrounded by a storm surge that you can't get to, and on that island, things have been blown up, and there's some nuclear radiation type stuff that we don't know about, and there's King Kong.
I can get behind that. We've had megafauna, which is what they're called, really, like King Kong, real animals that were just freaking huge.
Yeah.
We've had that before.
Yeah.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
Like, we had giant sloths that were about the same size as King Kong. In Kong, Skull Island.
Right.
Now, how big he is in this new movie?
Well, you're just getting
Maybe
bigger. You're just getting bigger, dude. You're just getting a little bit bigger, bro.
I don't know, man. I'm excited.
He just keeps growing.
There's rumors about Mechagodzilla being in it.
They said he's like in the trailer.
So there's that scene that's like looking up a stairwell, and there's like a big cloud coming down. There's a single, like, couple frames that you can kind of see a Godzilla face, but it's metallic.
Okay.
Which would be very awesome.
So tell me about that. I don't know about Mecha Godzilla.
So, yeah, and I know too much.
Well,
obviously.
that's okay.
So the whole idea behind like Godzilla is like he starts out in the 60s, 50s or 60s as a movie, kind of as a commentary and satire of the bombs being dropped on Japan. Obviously, that's where the nuclear part of Godzilla comes in. But then it's also about Japan and the government's handling of said like nuclear disaster.
Okay.
Essentially. So throughout the movies, so you get Godzilla and you get, big angry lizard a few times. And then I think the third or fourth movie, humanity's just like, okay, maybe we need to find a way to fight Godzilla on his own turf. And then said robot Godzilla gets taken over by, bad guys. And then it's Godzilla now having to fight what humanity made to fight him. It's a whole thing. But in this trailer, that scene that I mentioned before, and also there's that scene of that Asian guy who's supposed to be the son of the guy from
the second movie.
From the second movie, yeah. That guy is standing in front of a screen or something that says battery, or it says like ERY, fully charged, and it looks like Mechagodzilla on the screen. People are just like, what if?
So we're pretty much thinking like Pacific Rim.
It would
Godzilla.
basically it's basically Pacific Rim meets Godzilla as like a big old lizard-looking robot
with an overgrown monkey trying to have three-way.
Exactly.
Bro, take my money, bro.
Like, that's the thing. Like, okay, so if I know movies, and I do know movies, the way this is going to play out is King Kong is going to get pulled off of Skull Island because they're like, oh, Godzilla's blowing stuff up again. We need to deal with him in a way that's, manageable.
And we need King Kong.
So they pull King Kong off. You see it in the trailer. He's on the ship. He's knocked out. And then Godzilla attacks because Godzilla's just like, yo, new guy on the turf, what you doing? Because he's, again, king of the monsters. You see him become the apex predator.
Yeah, right.
And it says in like the trailer, the credit scenes and stuff like that Godzilla still goes around everywhere and just like beats up on kaiju just to keep them in line. Right. Essentially. So that's the theory of like why he comes to the ship and starts like trying to fight him. Yeah. After that, they both, one of them escapes because, King Kong can't swim. Gorillas don't swim. Right. And Godzilla probably gets beat up a little bit more than he cares to get. That axe that King Kong has.
That's awesome.
It's freaking awesome. It's probably one of Godzilla's spikes. That's why it can, like, attract the nuclear breath. Okay. It's awesome. Anyway, so, obviously, Act 1 fight, you get in the mood. It's awesome. It's King Kong punching Godzilla. It's all we all want.
Yeah. So that's called a hope spot.
Yeah. And then you get Tokyo or Seoul. It's the city at night where they fight again. That's the point where one of them gets really injured.
King Kong.
Probably gonna be Godzilla.
You think so?
Because the axe to the head, bro. He's basically pulling a Thor, but actually going for the head. So I mean.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm thinking like Godzilla gets hurt. Godzilla goes down. And then we find out, oh no, Godzilla's still attacking. But, Monarch and the good guys are like, but he's right here. He's right in front of us. He's almost dead. Right. But he's on the other side of the world wrecking havoc. What's going on? And then you find out.
There's the bad guy from the second movie.
It's Mechagodzilla. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm so excited. And then they both team up, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
They tag team Mechagodzilla.
So, correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
But from what the takeaway I had from the trailer was, and you look at all these other kaijus, right? This is what they're called? Okay.
Yeah.
This is a war that's been happening for all of time.
Yes.
These creatures are obviously very old.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kong is on Skull Island, and we don't really necessarily know how he got there.
It's just where the race of Titanus gorillas or whatever starts.
Okay. But they've already fought before.
At some point, yes.
At some point. Which is why he has this axe, like, in layaway.
So, theoretically, I'm thinking that he doesn't necessarily have it at the beginning of the movie. Like, it's not just hidden in, like, some weird cave on Skull Island. I think he makes it, which is also, like, really cool because monkey smart. But that's just me.
See, I disagree. But I'm cool with that. That's awesome. But there's a scene where he puts his hand on something, and it's like...
Yeah, it's a red, like, spot that fits his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what happens. Let me tell you this. This is what happens. So
Gunnar Miller's King Kong versus Godzilla.
This is my King Kong versus Godzilla. So this is what happens. Act 1.
Okay.
So he's coming up through the Pacific.
Yeah.
All right. And here he comes, and King Kong's looking down at the water. They have their first little interaction.
Yeah.
We're gonna shine Godzilla up, and we're gonna shine King Kong at the same time. Give them both a little bit of play. All right. King Kong's gonna get a little bit more. He's gonna get a little bit more on this. He's gonna get over a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's when Godzilla takes off, right?
Yeah.
But King Kong's gonna be like, I wanted some more, and he was a lot right there. And I'm glad he was in the water, and I'm glad he took off because I don't know if I could handle that. And he probably got a little air assistance from the military.
Yeah,
right?
probably.
They're probably blowing him up, right? So Godzilla runs away, and they're about to have their other fight. Well, before the other fight, King Kong was like, if I see this dude again, we're gonna have some issues. So this is what I'm gonna do.
I get strapped.
I'm going back home. I need to go back home. I need my weapon. And he goes to this volcano door, his secret mystery volcano door, and he puts his hand up, and it opens up, and he's like fucking Batman, right? He's got his weapon in there for different kaijus, right? And he goes in there and grabs his Godzilla weapon.
Ooh.
And then he's like, all right, now drop me off in Tokyo or wherever I need to go. And they drop him off wherever he needs to go, and then he takes care of his business, right?
Yeah.
I think King Kong gets worked in that second scene.
I think so too. I think the scene that we see of him like fighting Godzilla at night is like before or after the clash with the axe and the nuclear breath.
Yeah.
Something happens to either again. I think it's Godzilla that goes down that second fight because again, axe to the head.
Yeah.
It's probably not good. But I think King Kong also gets hurt.
Yeah.
Massive explosion, like the whole city gets wiped out, and they're both like super hurt, and they're having to work themselves back up to fight again. Maybe now, that's where Mechagodzilla comes in, trying to finish them both off when they're already down.
And I can see that. I can see that for sure. I also see. I think King Kong goes down, but also King Kong could be up. King Kong could be up going into Mechagodzilla, being like, "Hey, bro, like,
Oh, I just thought about something. Mothra is still alive. There's a second egg that's found at the end of King of Monsters.
Okay.
So what if we get a scene just like King of the Monsters, but for King Kong?
Ooh.
He gets Super Saiyaned up from Mothra dying again,
Ooh.
which is okay. Again, back to the history of Godzilla. Mothra is definitely like the secondary to Godzilla at all times.
Okay.
Her character is really good because she does have a few solo stints. Like even in King of the Monsters, she takes out Rodan pretty well.
Yeah.
She takes down the Firebird.
Right.
As a bug.
Yeah.
So it's not like she's incapable, but when you get to like King Ghidorah and like a bunch of the other Godzilla level threats, it's just like, okay, maybe sit this one out because Godzilla's indestructible. Come on.
But isn't also in this one something wrong with Godzilla? Like there's a frequency.
It's the orca. So from King of the Monsters, the frequency thing.
Yeah. So
that was controlling.
So that guy obviously.
Oh yeah.
Got away. He's created Mechagodzilla, and he's messing with Godzilla to make people think that Godzilla is the one doing it.
Yeah. That's my working theory. That's what a lot of people think is
Yeah.
Godzilla at first is getting like brainwashed or whatever from the frequency. He's getting pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
He destroys a few cities, and then comes in Charlie Dance's character.
Yeah.
He's just like, we're taking over. We're gonna take this Mecha Godzilla, and we're gonna beat up Godzilla for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna thank us.
Is my guy from Friday Night Lights still in this?
I think so.
I hope so.
He's the only one that survived. Him and Millie Bobby Brown from last movie.
Yeah.
The mom dies. Saitora or some the Japanese guy dies. Which again, going back to King of the Monsters, watching that scene again, it's just like.
Can we look that up? Can you look that up real quick?
What do you mean?
See if my guy from Friday Night Lights is still in it.
I think so.
What's his name?
I want to say he was in the trailer.
What's his name? he was also in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
He was
the
cop.
FBI. Yeah. So.
I love that dude. Probably one of my favorite coaches in a film. And not really a film, it's a TV show. But one of my favorite fictional football coaches.
Kyle Chandler? Is that what his name?
Kyle Chandler. That's him.
Yeah.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose, bro.
Yeah, he's in it. He's back.
That's great.
There is a notable amount of new faces, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because I think what's nice about Godzilla is like there is a passage of time between them. It's not like, oh yeah, this day Godzilla fights Mothra, this day he fights King Ghidorah, and then this day he fights himself.
Yeah.
But robot. There's enough passages of time, and you don't have to use the same characters.
Yeah.
Because at some point, everyone knows Godzilla's alive. At some point, there's going to be, like, it's Monarch, so there's plenty of scientists that are just like, hey, this is the problem this week, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
I mean, you look, the first Godzilla, present day 2014.
yeah.
The next one's present day 2017.
Yeah. It's kind of like how Marvel did it. The Marvel movies up until Infinity War and Endgame were to date.
Yeah.
Like the timeline matched,
Right.
which was nice.
This is very nice.
Because it was just kind of like a window. So yeah, maybe this is supposed to be like 2021 of that universe.
Right.
Which makes sense.
Which is awesome.
And again, King Kong had 70 years to get swole, and he did.
Yeah.
So, well, I say 70. It's probably what, 60 to. It's about 60, 50, 60 years.
From the movie?
From Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
It's about, yeah.
Which, I mean, if you look at, if they're keeping, I guess, their storyline and his rate of growth,
Yeah.
that would be,
Freaking huge, this one.
you know.
Like, nerdy movie thing. But the way that these movies have been shot is awesome. Because there's a lot of those shots of, like, sitting on the ground as a cameraman and looking up, and you just see this massive foot just going by you at probably close to the speed of sound, realistically, and it steps, and then just air goes everywhere.
Yeah.
I just like the sense of scale that we get sometimes, because like obviously you get the third-person view,
Right.
and it's just like them standing in buildings, and you don't really get that sense of like scale
Yeah.
until you're on the ground. Especially like I think it was in Godzilla 2 when King Ghidorah first comes up and you see his head start moving, and then he like fully rears up, and you're just like, oh, he's that big.
Yeah.
So.
Well, another good scene is Skull Island at the very beginning when
The chopper scenes?
the choppers are coming in. And then all you see is like something get thrown at the chopper. Then the next thing is like a chopper falling in the ground. And then you see like glimpses of Monkey, and you're like, oh, that's King Kong. But then it shows the sun coming up, and he's standing in front of the sun.
It's so beautiful for again.
Samuel L. Jackson. Bro, get out of here.
These movies didn't have to be that good. They are
John Goodwin and Samuel L. Jackson and John Goodwin and King Kong.
Tom Hiddleston?
Get out of here, bro. Yeah, it's great.
That movie, again, these movies don't need that big of a budget. They
No.
don't need big name actors.
No.
King of the Monsters actually lost money domestically, which was kind of surprising to me.
I bet it crushed internationally.
Oh yeah, it was like 300 million to 120 million.
Yeah.
110 million of that was in
I bet.
the U.S.
Yep.
But that's what's so surprising to me is you can make a big budget monster movie and people still go see it.
Yeah.
Like, people like Godzilla.
You know what's crazy? I
easy.
bet people in America like King Kong better.
So that's actually something that I heard. Like, I saw some statistics of like polling, especially now that the trailer's out, because it's people asking like, okay, Team Godzilla, Team Kong, Team Godzilla. What do you think? Evidently, a lot of Japanese people really like Kong, and Godzilla is roughly based on King Kong, because the original King Kong in 1923 came out in 1923. It was a black and white film. I think it was technically a silent film that had obviously like music behind it. And then Godzilla comes out in 1953, and it's paying homage to obviously a big monster in the city.
Yeah.
So yeah, Godzilla actually like has to like bow down to King Kong a little bit, because King Kong came first, and he's the bigger. He was a big success in America, and evidently the Japanese really liked Kong. So they ended up making their own after a while. So yeah, I think it's kind of split. I think nowadays you don't really get the. I think obviously Japan might like more Godzilla just because it's homegrown.
Yeah.
But I don't think America is as easily like split between the two. Okay. I think there's a lot more crossover between people liking Godzilla just because he's got more movies.
Yeah.
And we had that shitty 2001 Godzilla. Evidently they like in the fan base of Godzilla they call him Gino, Godzilla in name only.
Okay.
which
gotcha.
is pretty good.
Yeah.
But no, there's definitely a resurgence, especially since Pacific Rim, of kaiju movies. Godzilla got a 2016 movie called Shin Godzilla, which you've kind of gotten into the subbed movie, like foreign movie.
They don't bother me. I'll watch all subtitles anyway. It doesn't bother me.
So I think you should go watch Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla.
It is kind of a reboot or a remake of the original.
Okay.
And it's
like
more
like the 1950 one?
Yes.
Okay.
It is a full reboot of Godzilla.
Okay.
It is a new Godzilla that is not connected to anything before it.
Gotcha.
And they really don't have anything to do with it afterwards either, obviously.
Yeah.
But it kind of remakes Godzilla a little bit, what he can do, what he can't do, where he comes from.
Yeah.
And this one's kind of, if Godzilla 1 original was based on the obviously like Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombings,
yeah.
This one's based on the meltdown from 2011.
Okay.
And it's a remake in the sense that like obviously back then it was about the government and how they handled Fukushima or they handled Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah.
This one's how the government handled Fukushima, which is even worse than what you'd expect.
Gotcha.
So, and I've done a little bit of digging on Fukushima, and Jesus, they were like, "Oh no, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. The government will handle it. You're gonna be fine." And then 10,000 people died because of radiation poisoning.
Right.
It's yeah. Anyways. Back to the real topic that I'm super pissed about. I've been hyped all day about literally two things: Godzilla and GameStop.
Yeah, so give me a little background on the GameStop. Obviously, you should have wanted to have GameStop stock 3 days ago.
About a week ago.
Okay.
About a week ago, you would have made a decent amount of money. I said literally, I remember telling Chris this. I was like, if I have the money in about 3 weeks, which I didn't. I ended up not having the money to do it. But I wanted about $100 to buy into GameStop before the new consoles came out. Because I knew, obviously, like, roughly November, December, the stock was going to go up. And it did. It went from, like, $5 to $10, $15. I would have made a little bit of money, but I probably wouldn't have sold because I was just like, meh, GameStop is GameStop. It'll keep growing if it does. I never bought that. About a week ago, a Reddit forum called Wall Street Bets. Now, a little background on Wall Street Bets. They are the most internet guys on the internet. They meme themselves to death. They're a little cringy a little bit of just like making bad jokes. And they make really bad jokes. Literally, like if you're not bullish on something, they'll call you a Well, they use emojis, but they'll put the rainbow bear emoji for other reasons, not calling it a rainbow bear. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, so these guys, they're the type that will be like, hey, buy some Tesla stock, just hold on to it, you're going to be good. You know, dumbasses that literally, like, the whole bit of it is like in their rules on the side, you see one of the rules, and if you post a screenshot, it has to be you losing over $2,000. That's what they like to see, because it's a little bit of it's not voyeurism. What's the German word? It's when you see somebody doing bad and it gives you a little bit of happiness.
I don't know. I know what
you
you're
know
saying.
what's yeah. It's a little bit of that. It's watching somebody fail.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people on there do.
So they're haters.
Not haters necessarily. They all fail equally.
Okay.
Like it's just fun and games. And before I get into this, we need to say this, and this is important. We are not financial advisors. We do not give financial advice. We are a bunch of idiots on the internet.
But my brother-in-law is. So if you need to go talk to a financial advisor, reach out to him. Anyways,
yes.
keep going.
But we are not. Yeah. Legally, we have to say that.
Okay. Yeah. Legally, I'm not a doctor either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Wall Street Bets kind of comes up with this idea. They're a bunch of internet guys. They're a bunch of nerds. They like video games.
Okay.
Gamestop is where you buy video games.
Yeah.
They notice that Melvin Capital, a hedge fund on Wall Street, has shorted GameStop.
Okay.
Shorting GameStop, or shorting a stock, is basically betting that it's going to go down by a percentage. They shorted GameStop stock by 120%, up to 140%, which already should be illegal. I'm not entirely sure if it is. I'm pretty sure it is. But that's basically saying that their stock is going to go down, and it's going to go down by more. Like, the 120% means that all of their stock is going to be worthless, and the 120% actually meant that they were shorting against more stock that is in circulation.
They're about to bankrupt the company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And obviously that's shitty, but it happens all the time. But Wall Street Bets took that personally. You're not going to short GameStop and make our boys go bankrupt. One, because you're going to, bankrupt a company, causing untold hundreds of thousands of people to go out of a job. That's already shitty.
Yeah.
On top of what this past year has been.
Yeah.
So, Wall Street Bets gets the idea. What if we have 2.4 million people on this Reddit, at least that are connected and following it, not necessarily posting every day. But hey, everybody that's ever looked at Wall Street Bets, listen up. We're gonna take as much money as we want to, as much as we're willing to lose, and a lot of people have done a lot more than people have been selling houses to buy into GameStop stock because they said, hey, they're going, basically what Melvin Capital is basically doing was they're going to bankrupt a company, but as soon as the stock goes down, a lot of the time for these hedge funds and these big Wall Street brokers, the stock will just absolutely plummet because they shorted a bunch, and a bunch of people look at what they're doing and they're like, oh no, they know something I don't, so they're going to sell. So everyone sells and the stock just plummets down to the ground. And guess what? The big guys that have a bunch of money buy it up. And this has been happening in crypto too. And I've been looking at crypto.
And
it's
when
really
they buy the majority of it, now they pretty much own the company.
They pretty much own the company, and when the price goes back up to where it was supposed to be, they're in the profit billions.
You've watched Billions, right?
A little bit.
It's very
yeah.
The joke was GameStop should be the next episode of Billions. But
keep going. So GameStop stock should be sitting at $16. That's where it's supposed to be. The highest it's been, in the past couple of years when GameStop is already on the downtrend, has been 60, a comfortable 60. They were shorting it way lower. They were shorting it a ton lower. I think it was like $6 or something like that. And so when Wall Street Bets says, hey, everyone, buy GME. Just buy it. Doesn't matter what you're going to do with it. You can sell it tomorrow. Just buy it. We want to fuck this price. And I'm sorry, I'm cursed. But
It's okay.
I'm a little infuriated.
I love it. I like your passion.
I like being passionate about this.
I like your passion. Keep going.
Because what happens when you short a stock? You're basically putting a bet that the stock will go down. And if it goes up, you owe money to that person. Shorting stock, let me go back to it, is basically you saying, hey, let me borrow your stock so I can do what I want with it.
Yeah.
So they borrow said stock from X amount of people that have that stock.
Yep.
And the idea is if the price goes down, oh, I borrowed it from you at $16. Now it's only worth $1. I owe you $1.
Yeah.
But I had $16 worth of stock.
Yeah.
And I did, I sold it, traded it, whatever.
Right.
So, with their short, if the stock goes up, they owe the person that they borrowed from X amount of dollars that it goes up. And we're working with not just one person taking said stock and then holding it. We're working with hundreds of thousands of stock. We're working with millions of stock.
Mm-hmm.
And if the price goes from $6, $16, evidently, from what I read, Monday this week, if the price went up $12, Melvin Capital lost $1 billion. And it went up $300, $400 today. And that absolutely wrecked Melvin Capital. Now, the thing with shorts is, you look at the stock, and you take that loan out from them. You borrow the stock. You have to give, you have to pay back the money, or pay, you pay whatever money you owe them at an expiration date.
Yeah.
Evidently, the expiration date is tomorrow, because that's the end of quarter 4 of 2020.
So they were trying to short it before Q4.
They were going to short it before Q4, make their last bit of money, and then end on, a high note, whatever you want to call it. But that's only, a small percentage of the shorts. But, hey, that's still sticking it to the man. And that's good. I have always said that if I can see somebody middle class or lower getting a bunch of money and taking it from anybody in the 1%, I'm fine with that.
I know a guy that knows a guy. And I know everybody's like, oh, okay,
Well, yeah.
yeah, sure. I know a guy that knows a guy. This is for sure. He had $3,000 in Gamestop stock like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Like his money, he just kept building up, right? Just kept buying. It might have been in a mutual fund, whatever.
Might have been like a recurring payment that you just never cared about.
That account is plus 25 grand.
Yeah. It's crazy. And then you get into stock options and holdings and stuff like that. There's one guy who has been reigned as the idiot. Wall Street Bets uses some harsher language, the
Gotcha.
R word for specifically.
Oh, yeah.
The best R word
Yeah.
on Wall Street Bets is a guy that basically bought a stock option holding for like February 5th or something like that, and he put in maybe a couple grand. He's worth now, if he sells those options, $44 million.
Yeah.
Like, this is a moment in time. Doesn't matter if you think it's stupid. Doesn't matter if you think Reddit's stupid, which a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Reddit. I hate Reddit. Using it
There's
personally.
some pros and cons to it, depending on.
It's just a social media.
Yeah.
It's exactly like everybody else.
Yeah.
We won't get into that today.
Yeah.
But this single Reddit forum, Wall Street Bets, these idiots on the internet have caused a hedge fund to lose billions of dollars. That's crazy. Now, what's even more crazy, and what's really making me mad,
That's where I was ready for this part.
what's really grinding my gears is that yesterday, all this is going down. The stock just rockets up from $20, $16, whatever it was a couple days ago, to $300.
Yep.
I bought in. Now, This is not what you're supposed to do. And I do not take financial advice from me.
Yeah, don't.
Because obviously I'm wrong. I was like, you know what? I could see this going higher because enough idiots on the internet are doing what they can. And it was trending higher. Like, there was a minute where it dropped down to $2.99, and I was like, you know what? Buying it. And I bought in $30 at $299. So, I thought, if this hit $500, I am at $50. If this hits $1,000, I'm at $100. The problem, or the benefit of this whole thing is, if enough people do it, that stock can skyrocket. It can go to the moon. It can go anywhere.
Yeah.
If enough people want to buy it.
Yeah.
And again, 2.4 million people want to buy GameStop stock right now.
Yeah.
That stock is going to go up.
Yep.
So I said, you know what? $30 is $30.
That's a logical high percentage play in gambling.
Exactly. And obviously, this is what it is. It's a little bit of gambling.
Yeah.
Because at this point, with this high volatility of the stock market, specifically this stock, it is going to go back down at some point. The bubble will burst.
Check this. In gambling, if you're doing live betting, say you're playing basketball, okay?
Yeah.
And the basketball team is winning by 25 points at halftime. The odds makers will give you a live bet going into the second half that they're now going to win this game by 49.5 points. Can that team beat that team exactly how they just beat them in the first half? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Continue.
So, again, I figured I have $30 that is worth literally nothing to me. It is sitting in my bank account. I'm not working with it.
Okay.
I don't need it. I've got all of my bills paid up. I don't need it right now.
Okay.
$30 goes in on Robinhood, which is a brokerage site that I thought, hey, this is the one I signed up for, a year ago when stocks were kind of going crazy. I got a Robinhood account.
Yep.
I liked the irony of, hey, we're stealing from the rich and we're getting money.
Yeah.
And we're poor.
Okay.
Robinhood.
Yep.
It all makes sense.
Let's do it.
Come to find out this morning, after hours. Here's the slimy bit.
Like after midnight?
After 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the thing about stock exchange. The exchange closes at a certain time. That's why crypto is this whole new thing that you can just trade and sell anytime.
Yeah.
During after hours, though, on stock market, not a lot of things are supposed to happen. It will go down. Every stock goes down after hours because, obviously, people take a breath and are like, oh, this isn't actually going to go as high as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. For
GameStop, it was expected because of all the chatter that it was still going to go up. Or, at the very least, it flatlines.
Yes.
That's the best you can hope for, is at least a flat line. And it did, for the most part. Until CNBC, Wall Street Journal, all these media places, all canoodling with each other. And don't tell me they're not canoodling, because at this point, we all know how everything works.
Oh, yeah.
If you're paying attention, you know that at least everybody in the mainstream media, the reason they're called the mainstream media is because they're just a bunch of guys talking to each other all at the same time.
Yep.
Anyway, MSM gets in on it. They start talking about it. People are saying, "Oh, this is going to ruin the stock market. You're going to cause another crash of 07, 08." Well, sure. That's totally going to happen with a bunch of idiots on the internet buying a single stock. Well, the bunch of guys on the internet said, "Holy cow. We just basically if everything holds as it is, we basically just bankrolled a company, a hedge fund that's worth millions, if not billions. Mm-hmm. Holy cow. What if we start making these other memes a reality?" The other memes that have been floating around right now are AMC, the theater company, Nokia, the phone company, and BlackBerry, the phone company. 2 phone companies and a movie theater business. 2 phone companies that haven't really made new phones in a decade?
Yeah.
5 years at max?
Yeah.
I think they actually have been making new
But
phones.
nobody cares about them.
Nobody cares about Nokia anymore because they're not indestructible.
Yeah.
They used to be absolutely indestructible, and BlackBerry used to be the hot new thing because it had a keyboard.
Yep. It was the first smartphone.
Yeah. And AMC is now the biggest movie theater chain because, well, they own everything.
Yeah.
They bought out,
Regal.
Carmike.
Carmike.
Yeah,
right.
they bought out Carmike.
Regal
Regal is the only other one, I think.
Yep.
But AMC, there's no new movies coming out. Things are going down.
HBO Max has got everything.
HBO Max is going to have everything same day.
Yep.
Which is, let me say this, that's freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the new Mortal Kombat. I'm excited about Godzilla. What's the other one? There's one other, Dune. Dune's going to come out.
Don't forget about the new Denzel Washington movie. It's going to be fantastic. It comes out the end of this month.
Space Jam 2.
Oh, it might be already out.
Oh my gosh.
Not Space
Wanna
Jam.
go watch it?
But Denzel Washington, I think, came out
Yeah,
this weekend.
I think so, yeah. Anyway, so back to it. The meme lords on the internet were like, listen, 2.4 million people. I don't think it was actually 2.4 million people that worked on this, but we have a lot of people that are currently having a lot of buying power in the stock market. Mm-hmm. They start looking at AMC, they start looking at BB, which is BlackBerry, and they start looking at Nokia. I wake up today to the news that Robinhood and I think Trans-American Union or something like that, and I think E-Trade, I think, actually.
E-Trade, yeah.
Brokerages that are open to the people. Retail brokerages, I think is what they're kind of called. Mm-hmm. It's basically where you and I go to go buy stock. Because we don't have people on the actual floor of Wall Street.
Right.
Not that there are really any people on there anyway.
You don't
Everything's
have a broker.
online
You don't
now.
have a broker.
Yeah, we don't have personal agents that do this stuff for us.
Yeah.
So we have to go through these brokerages. Well, these brokerages today, January 28th, said, yeah, we can't allow, because of the high volatility of these stocks, we can't allow you to buy GME, GameStop, BB, BlackBerry, Nokia, or AMC. So, these major brokerages said, you don't get to buy what we don't want you to. Guess what happens to the price?
Went down.
It went down because nobody can buy it. And now, let's be honest here, there are these guys on Wall Street Bets that may have brokerages that they use personally, like brokers, people.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people that have gone in on this, because they started hearing the news yesterday, signed up for Robinhood. They signed up for E-Trade. They signed up for Trans-American Union or whatever. And now they can't even buy it. Because those companies said, well, you guys, it's really, it's volatile. You guys are going to buy in and you're going to lose all your money. People aren't smart enough to do this right. Well, this is where I took it personally. My $30 is now worth $25. And it's only been going down. So one, they made me lose money.
Right.
But two, the theory is, and obviously legalese and loopholes and stuff like that, Robinhood potentially broke the law. They potentially could have broken SEC guidelines about how to not manipulate the market. Yeah. They straight up said, you don't get to buy this, which caused an actual downfall of a stock. Therefore, I feel that it's fairly simple to say they meddled with the market.
Yeah.
And there are rumors, people on Reddit who are anonymous other than their usernames, but people that have said, hey, I work at Robinhood, please don't shoot me. But I work at Robinhood, and I overheard something today that Melvin Capital and some of the other big banks, hedge funds, that had done the same exact thing Melvin did, called Robinhood, as well as the White House called Robinhood and told them to stop allowing the exchange of those stocks. Now, I don't necessarily believe that because anybody on the internet can say anything they want.
Yeah.
But if that's true, that is absolutely a flagrant and should be enraging action.
Impeachment.
Exactly. That is okay. It just says the White House. Does that mean Uncle Joe actually did it himself?
Nope.
No. But I can tell you probably somebody that did. His Secretary of the Treasury.
Yeah.
Who, if I can be very, very blatantly honest, and I know I can, the Secretary of the Treasury shouldn't have anything to do with either Bitcoin and cryptocurrency or the stock exchange. The Treasury just handles the Federal Reserve and the money that is the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
She is not in charge of the SEC. She's not in charge of anything like that. But she has been saying for the past 3 or 4 weeks that she is going to crack down on cryptocurrency. She's going to now fiddle with the stock market. And it's absolutely stupid. But something that's come out of this that I find very interesting and I find very hope-filling is that it doesn't matter who you are in this country at this point. It doesn't matter your politics, doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter your sexual orientation, doesn't matter any of that. If you are not worth $1 billion or even $1 million, if you're not worth $1 million right now, those people in government and in the big banks that are worth $1 million, if not $1 billion, personally, those people basically just said to you, you don't get to play our game. You don't get to break our toys. And that's enraging. That's infuriating.
Now, I hate to bring it back to this, but that wouldn't happen in the Trump administration.
I don't think so, but at the same time, I do think it wouldn't matter. Because looking back at Trump, at least the people that had the ability to make a change in this right now probably would have sided with big companies. And that's just a problem with our government. That's not against Joe or Trump. Yep. It's neither of those. It's a problem just with our Congress.
Right.
Because it's not the presidency. The presidency does get to kind of work on this because the executive branch would be the ones that would be sending out the SEC to go get people that were manipulating the market. But if there's a lawsuit, if there's a class action lawsuit against Robinhood, which there is today, if there's anybody that's trying to get Melvin Capital put on the leash for what they were doing, which was, again, in what I've been able to read, illegal.
Insider trading.
It's all insider trading. Like it's just an open secret at this point.
Yeah.
They're manipulating the market by doing what they can because they have millions and billions to spend on the market, and then making more money.
Yeah.
It's squeezing all of the value out of our economy that they can.
Sure.
So that they just have more money. I'm one of those people that probably could live 80 to 100 grand, and everything over that is just profit. I get to spend it on frivolous things. And even then, 80 grand a year for me, I don't even think I would be able to spend that much. Yeah. That's just a comfortable living.
Yeah. Especially single.
Yeah.
Right? Or just by yourself.
Just be me by myself, 80 grand would get me by. I would never have to worry.
I mean, 50 grand is your average salary for a household of 4 in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
So.
And even 50 grand, I think I could live on very comfortably.
Yeah.
But the fact that people that are making millions and billions every day, if not in a year, are telling people like us, and we're very different people financially. Like, you're pretty stable. I am volatile as hell.
Recently stable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even then, like, looking back, and somebody made a post on Wall Street Bets, and it wasn't like, oh yeah, rocket up to the moon. We're going to Andromeda.
Right.
It wasn't the dude bro shitty post. Yeah. It was written as an open letter to basically the CNBC, Melvin Capital, Boomers, and Wall Street Bets.
Okay.
Essentially, the guy wrote an open letter to all 4 of them saying, "Dear so-and-so, whoever reads this, I grew up as an early teen in the 2008-2007 market crisis.
Yeah.
he said that his family managed to get out pretty okay. But everyone else in his neighborhood didn't.
Yeah.
And he remembers his family, even though they were basically eating table scraps at that point.
Yeah.
They were eating, leftovers from 3 days ago.
Yeah, ramen noodles.
Ramen noodles and ketchup.
Yeah.
But he had friends that were basically eating tomato soup made out of school packet ketchup.
Yeah.
And his parents were giving the rest of the families in the neighborhood, hey, I'll pay you $50 if you weed eat my yard, and then giving him $100.
Yeah.
Like that, reading it kind of put me back in 2008. I thought back. I was like, we had just moved down here. My stepdad was working at a hospital. He was making decent money salary. My mom was working at the place she still works at, but she was also making decent money.
Yeah.
And we made it out just fine. Like, nothing really changed. I also wasn't paying attention, so maybe things really changed and I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
But I think about it right now, in my life, right now, and I think about all the people I know, all the people I care about, and if we went through another 2007, 2008, a market crisis that causes 80%, what was the unemployment, like 70% unemployment?
Very high. Yeah, it's the highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
And also gas was $4 to $5.
Gas has already gone up a whole dollar.
I know, but I mean, you're looking at the average that year. I believe gas was like a $3.45 across the nation, and then like touched $4 and $5 a gallon.
Literally last year, we hit $1 in Hickson. Did you see that? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember
like,
that.
They sold out of gas, I think, within like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
And now we're back up to, what, $2.50?
Yeah.
Roughly?
Yeah, it's went up ever since he came in office.
Well, that's
there.
beside that. I think that just happens every election. I think
does, yeah.
every transfer of presidency.
Yeah.
But thinking about it, think about right now, after the shit show that was 2020, and we go into now, and although I am on the side of Wall Street bets, I like what they're doing. But if the government says Melvin Capital shorted a bunch of GameStop stock, but now they're, billions of debt, we're just going to have to bail them out. How many more bailouts is it going to take before we realize we don't need to be making bailouts?
Yeah.
If you place a bad bet in gambling, what happens?
You lose your money.
You lose your money. If you place a bad bet on Wall Street as a person like me, what happens?
You lose your money.
If you're a hedge fund on Wall Street, you make a bad bet against GameStop, and the internet decides, hey, we like that company, don't bankrupt it, and you lose money, what happens?
Bail you out.
We just give you free money. Taxpayer money. Yeah. And we're already, we've passed multiple trillions of dollars within the last year. Stimulus checks.
Yeah.
And bailouts for small businesses.
Made up money.
All made up. 66% of the current U.S. dollar that is in circulation, not paper, just dollars that are circulating right now. That's made up money, fake money, was made in 2020.
Yep. 66%.
If you don't see that, if you don't hear that number and realize we're going to hit inflation numbers that shouldn't even be possible, you should be prepping. Everybody should be prepping. I'm not saying that this is the end of the world, but this is the end of the good times.
Yeah.
We had good times from, I don't know. Well, actually, honestly, we've had good times for a while in America. Mm-hmm. 2007, 2008 was the start of the bad times. The bad times are coming now. Doesn't matter who you are. If you are not worth $1 billion, you're not going to make it out okay. Things are going to struggle.
Yeah.
So, might as well start packing. You want to get some food. You're going to want to save some money and spend it before it becomes worthless.
Yeah.
Buy gold, buy silver.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Well, that was a good soapbox. I enjoyed
Dude,
it.
I needed it.
I enjoyed it. I appreciate you. All right. Well, you heard it here first. So, all that's very interesting. Next week is going to be a very strong, and I'm coming in organized. Very organized, very strong. We're gonna have a good game plan, and we're gonna knock out some Super Bowl stuff, and we're gonna give you the very best Super Bowl prediction both score, team, spread, and we're going to go all in on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to have that as the title of our show. And then when you're watching it back a year from now, this is going to be the first ever Chat with Gunner Super Bowl prediction show. So my record is on the line here. I want to be known as 1-0 picking Super Bowls starting this first year of 2021.
You
right?
better. You can't go out of this year without winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Come
so
on
we're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to win the total. We're going to win the spread. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pick it all. That's going to be fun because I'm about to put a bunch of research into this. So I'm getting away tonight, going to a cabin with the family.
Yeah.
We got a super nice cabin in Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Nice. I've been to Blue
It's not even a
Ridge.
cabin. We got a super nice house in Blue Ridge,
Oh.
Georgia that's on like a trout river. It's incredible. So I'm leaving here, going to pick up T and Marcus. We're going up tonight. Mom, Dad are coming down tomorrow. My sister and Jay, they're all coming up tonight. So I'm sure I'll be talking to him about GameStop as well.
Dude.
Buy space, Ethan. So here's you. I'm not a financial advisor. And I don't claim to know everything. But here's something that I would gamble on. There's going to be a mutual fund coming up in 2021 that is going to be space oriented. Buy that one.
Oh yeah.
The person that is putting that together put together last year's mutual fund, which was all of your buy from your phone, ship to your house type retail stores and DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that stuff. And that mutual fund profited 100% last year. So,
Jeez.
buy space.
Yeah.
Buy space. But until then, we'll see you next week. All right, dude.